let me show you something that to me is even a bigger surprise. Let's take a look at Genesis chapter 38. Now that's a pretty weird chapter. It's one that many parents wish wasn't in the Bible, because it's this sordid story of Judah's sin with Tamar. And when you study Genesis, from 37 to the end is a fabulous wrap-up of this incredible book. And in Genesis 37, you have the beginning of the saga of Joseph, who after being sold by his brothers rises to become the prime minister of the world. Incredible saga from 37 to 50, end of the book, chapter 50. But in chapter 38, they insert this story that is a sordid thing, how Judah is tricked into having sex with his daughter-in-law, Tamar, and then who gives birth to two sons out of wedlock. And many people wonder, what's that doing in the Bible? And well, it's in there because it's part of the Messianic line for a lot of reasons, but we won't get into that here. The real question is, why is the Holy Spirit recorded here? Let me show you something else about it. And this is Genesis 38, again in Hebrew, going from right to left. And it's interesting that we discover in that text, at 49 letter intervals again, the name of Boaz. That catches our attention. Then we find at 49 letter intervals, we find the name of Ruth. And Boaz and Ruth. Wow, okay, what's going on here? And then we find in 49 letter intervals the name Obed. And then at 49 letter intervals, we find Yishe, or Jesse as we would say it. And then we find at 49 letter intervals the name of David. Now, so we have here, apparently, rather astonishingly, we have Boaz, Ruth, Obed, Jesse, and David at 49 letter intervals in chronological order. We have the genealogy of David. Indeed. Now realize, this is in Genesis. Long before after the books of Moses, we have Joshua, then we have Judges, then 1 Samuel. Long before David's around, David's genealogy is plugged in. We know that God had planned to have David as the king from the beginning. Israel's impatient. They want a king, so he lets them have Saul for a while to learn some lessons. But David was ordained in Genesis 38. Staggering, staggering implication. Known unto God are all his works from the beginning. He alone knows the end from the beginning, and he demonstrates that to authenticate that message that he sent to you. It's in your laps.